associating September 11 as, just obviously a day of tragedy, a day that highlights that the real terrorists are within the system itself, but also the day that I lost my father and my brother. But then after 2022, I started associating it with Joseph Gregory Hallett, who is the true King of England, and Christ returned. Sounds crazy, but I believe it. I believe it. One of the two Christs. There's two Jesus Christs. Two men that achieved the title Christ. Two men that have fulfilled the Bible prophecies. They've been acknowledged by the high orders as such. Sounds crazy. I know it sounds too good to be true. I know what you're thinking. Libby, she's out of her mind. And you're correct. I am out of my mind. But I'm right about this.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
It's Liberation Day. I'm getting oxygen. That's great. Okay, that's great. Look at that. I'll get my sense of humor back. Okay, so Libby, I'm not an ego. I mean, I need an ego. Everybody needs an ego. So I posted episode 5. I uploaded it on the 2nd of April. The day after April Fool's Day. I finished my video after a week of preparing. And it's called Message to the King. Aslan is back. Guys, Aslan is back. King Arthur's back. And, no one listens to me. Okay? But they will. Okay? Look. In May of 2024, I saw that Greg did a video. It was a speech by King David and King John. And at the end, they said, "And to the wise woman, the civil, King David and the Moses are ready to meet with you now. We look forward to hearing from you, Hannah."
To the wise woman, the civil, King David and the Moses are ready to meet with you now. Reach out and contact us. King David and I are looking forward to hearing from you, Hannah.
And I thought, who is Hannah? Who is this wise woman? Is it me? Am I the wise woman? And then I thought, well, no, because, the fool believes herself to be wise, and the wise woman knows she's a fool. So I'm not wise, I'm a fool. I know that I'm a fool. It's like a puzzle, isn't it? It's a puzzle, it's a mystery. They're building a mystery. And God knows I love a mystery. I wanted to get into this. Left little clues, and someone has got to put it all together, right? So, if someone could do that. If someone could do that, please, that would be great. Hashtag, who the fuck is Hannah? Hannah must be brave. I saw a movie called Hannah. She's got the bow and arrow, and she's like an assassin. Hashtag, who is Hannah? I need to know. Who is this wise woman? Okay? I've seen in other videos, you got in The Simpsons, breakdown, you got 3 masters completing a task, okay? Who's the third? Okay, who's the third? Okay. You've got the Triple Crown, okay? There's a missing piece of the puzzle. John the Baptist, he'll solve it. John the Baptist, you know, it's up to you, John. It's up to you. You've got to do it. You got to do it. And Bear Grylls, you know, it's up to you. Russell Brand, it's up to you. I am the wise woman, and I'm getting in touch, okay? So, yeah, Your Royal Majesties, King John, King David, I bow before you. King David, the master and commander. King John is right-hand man, okay? I come before you, humble peasant, and I say, I love your work. I look forward to seeing you on the thrones, you know, kick those bloody enemies out of the islands. Get them off the island, okay? Get off our island. It's our island. I've heard that before.
Stephen is my name. I'm the most wanted man on my island. Except I'm not on my island, of course. More's the pity.
Your island? You mean Ireland?
Yeah, it's mine.
You're a madman.
I've come to the right place now.
It's a good movie.
And the wind cries Mary. Justice will be served, and yeah, I got a vision of the trumpet. Does the trumpet call? What does the trumpet symbolize? Is that something biblical? I don't know. So yeah. Oh my god, it's hot in here. Down Egypt land, tell those pharaohs. Okay. Somewhere over the rainbow.
I scheduled it to go live at 3:33 on the 3rd of April, but I uploaded it on the 2nd. And then I laughed myself to sleep. And then I wake up and I see that Trump has declared Liberation Day. I couldn't help but notice that there was two men standing in the crowd.
And I'm delighted to see Trump is announcing Liberation Day.
Trump is just ascending those steps now from the White House, Harris, and we are.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice crowd. What a good-looking group of people. Well, we have some very, very good news today, and a lot of good things are happening for our country. Please sit down. My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. Waiting for a long time. Waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed. America's destiny was reclaimed. Destiny was reclaimed.
And then, he says, please sit down. And there's two men at the back who, they just keep standing. They don't have to take instructions from Trump. So, one of them does a little marketing. And the other one, just pulls his pants up, look. He's got a construction hat on him. He's a builder. He builds things, okay? The American dream is coming back very strongly. It's very simple. It's very reciprocal. This is the dawn of the golden age of America. The true America. What America stands for. The light of America, the hope of America, the courage of America, the freedom of America, the beauty of America, the art of America. Trump and his team, they know that some people are fast asleep and some people, they understand the way things are. And so they have to make speeches that can communicate to all of the levels of understanding. And there's always deeper meanings. So, I think when you realize that we haven't had real news ever, we know this amount in comparison to what is out there, what has been happening behind the scenes. And it's starting to come out. Yeah, things are changing. My episode 4, The Great Scamdemic, or whatever it's called, how the scamdemic apocalypse shined our disco balls. That was banned off of YouTube last year. When I put that on YouTube, they banned it. They took it down. And now, when I re-uploaded it a few weeks ago, it's still up there. Okay.
The idea that America has connections to the divine feminine comes from several symbolic and mythological threads. And while it's not mainstream history, it's deeply fascinating. One interpretation ties the name America to Amaru, a Peruvian deity or serpent figure linked to wisdom and transformation, and Amun-Ra, suggesting a hidden spiritual lineage. Others look to the divine feminine in the word's similarity to Maria, evoking the Virgin Mary, or more broadly, the archetypal mother goddess. These ideas blend spiritual, linguistic, and mythological themes, suggesting a feminine essence behind the land's name. Now, the Statue of Liberty is a key symbol in this narrative. She was inspired by Libertas, the Roman goddess of liberty, but there's evidence the sculptor Bartholdi may have drawn from Egyptian imagery too, particularly the colossal statues at Nubian tombs. Some believe she also echoes Isis, the Egyptian goddess of magic and motherhood, especially through her crown and torch symbolizing enlightenment and power. The radiant crown she wears, with its 7 spikes, has been linked to both the sun god Sol Invictus and goddess figures like Fortuna, who represented destiny and fate in Roman iconography. Do you feel a particular connection to any of these goddesses or symbols?
I went to America in 2023, and I was so excited to go because I hadn't been to America since I was 12. I was 36 I had my 37th birthday in Salt Lake City at the Grand America Hotel. The first time I went to America, I was 4, and my mother took me to Minnesota and Minneapolis to see where she grew up and visit some of her family. I went again when I was 6, and we went to LA and they took me to Disneyland. But then we went again when I was 9, and then when I was 12, my dad took my brother and I to Disney World in Florida. Yeah, so my memories and experience of America was just all Disney. I knew that I had family in America on my mother's side. They were mainly, from German and Irish, immigrants. But my father, his great grandmother was born in Boston. What a prayer. So General Grant, he won the Civil War. He helped end the war, and he was voted unanimously as president. And I only recently found out that he is one of my ancestors. And yeah, so I feel very emotional, and I feel proud, and I feel like I'm connecting with my own ancestors and my own family, and also really reflecting on the spirit of freedom and independence and what that really means. Do we really have the freedom that all these people fought for, that people are still fighting for? And not really. The story goes that Grant won the war, they ended the war, and they ended slavery. But we all can, we're realizing now that that's not exactly true. They just turned everybody into slaves. They made slavery something that you had to hide. It was a great step forward. May he rest in peace. Those of you who have seen my videos on YouTube, I've started sharing my story. And, my fight to survive and my experience with evil and my journey of forgiveness and understanding and awakening and liberation. Even though, the evil forces can fabricate fake wars and all kinds of things, but ultimately it always backfires against them, and the light always wins. That's why I'm wearing these pants today, because it reminds me of the never-ending chess game. The dance of light and dark that never ends. Personally, I think I'm realizing that the ultimate freedom is to be free of fear and to completely have faith in God. The early founding fathers and mothers of America, a lot of them were patriots on the run from the despicable monarchy in England and other European countries. And they wanted to get away from all the corruption. And a lot of these people were hunted by the evil empire. So, they went to America with big hopes and dreams that they had an opportunity to create a country that could be free of the monarchy. So it was September 11 of 2001. It was a Wednesday. I remember the day. I was in year 10. I was 15. Wednesdays was always my favorite day of the week because I loved my human biology class, because we had a really cool teacher and he'd just make us laugh the whole time. And I got to sit next to my crush. So, I loved Wednesdays, what can I say? So at the time I was living at my mother's house. We lived in Dianella on Valentine Avenue. And I remember being woken up earlier than usual. Say, Libby, time to wake up. But this time there was just something different about this morning. And instead of sort of just saying that to me at the door and walking off, she'd come up to my bed and she very gently was like, Libby, now something really bad has happened in America. And as she's telling me this, I can hear my dad's voice ranting and raving downstairs. And he'd never even been over to our house before. My dad and mum they would avoid each other. I could hear him going off downstairs. And when my dad gets when he's passionate about something, it's like a show of just animated expression. And so he hadn't slept. He'd been up all night with his friends watching September 11 happen. So he was a little bit unhinged, and he came over just spreading his his conspiracy theories about what really happened, what's really happening with September 11. So anyway, I just remember that I went downstairs and just saw on the news, those images of the Twin Towers coming down. And I went to school, and sure enough, my human biology teacher just let us watch the news the whole class. Little did I know at the time that day would impact my life in a really big way, because it set my dad on a new path, and he ended up converting to Islam, and so did my brother. My dad is a very curious person, and that's where I get it from. And he was never into religion, but he was, very interested in philosophy and history. And he went to India for a while. He was very curious about Buddhism, and I think he was a Buddhist for a while. He was a hippie, really, and he was just all about freedom and truth. And after September 11, he knew that it was an inside job. Like, clearly it's a false flag, and explain Building 7, And he suddenly became really curious about Islam, and within a year or two he had learned how to read Arabic and had converted. So at the time, I'm 15, 16. I am a very wild teenager. I was, a party goblin. I'd watched my dad party my whole life as a kid. He was very free, and I always just couldn't wait to grow up and be like him. I was throwing the biggest parties in school, and every single time my mum and stepdad would go out of town, I'd throw a party, and they'd last for days, and I just wanted to have fun, and I enjoyed breaking the rules. And I lived in the suburbs of Perth. It was very boring, and I had a lot of anger because I was really angry with the school system and with my parents. And I knew that the world was corrupt, and my school had wasted my time, and the movies that I watched as a kid probably didn't help. But movies like Pulp Fiction, thinking that was that's there's nothing cooler than that. So I was little Miss Rebellious, and meanwhile, my brother, who was 13 at the time of September 11, and he'd just moved in with my dad. So my brother had spent his whole life living with just me and my mum, poor guy, and finally, as a 13-year-old, got to go live with his dad. And so, when my dad went on his new, adventure of discovery into Islam, my brother went with him. And by the time I was 18, I was given a bit of an ultimatum of, Libby, what you're doing is evil, and I can't condone what you're doing. I don't want to hear about it. Come and, follow me. Convert to Islam. We will arrange a marriage for you with a rich guy. You'll never work a day in your life. You'll just live like a princess. And all you have to do is just, be a good Muslim girl. Just serve your husband and have babies. Pray to Allah every day. That's your role as a woman. Okay? As a woman, you just obey your husband and have babies. And I was like, yeah, nah, no thank you. It was the opposite of how he'd raised me. It was the opposite of everything that I'd been programmed to do. It sounded like hell to me, because in my mind, I was going to travel and be a career woman and, wait to have kids. I've always wanted to be a mother, but I was like, I'll wait till I've done what I want to do first. And also, I need to make sure that I grow up before I have kids, because, I do not want to have a divorce. I do not want to be a single mum. I do not want to have my kids, grow up in a broken home. That was the one, that was the strongest thing that I thought, because I grew up in a broken home. So, I knew, I do not want to continue that. Yeah, I knew that my kids will not grow up like I did. And I knew that I was immature, and I had issues. So I thought, okay, I need to heal myself. I need to work through all of my negative programming and dysfunctional. Both my families were just extremely dysfunctional. So I knew I had to overcome that before I became a mother. That I was gonna break the wheel, break the cycle. So yeah, but as far as I was concerned, I had plenty of time for love, marriage, kids. I just wanted to travel and party and, find my purpose, find my passion. So I said to my dad, okay, well, I'm not going to become a Muslim, and I'm not going to sell out for money. I'd rather be homeless. I'd rather be with a homeless guy that I love than just pick someone because I don't give a fuck about money. Actually, that was my attitude, because I'd watched the Griffins tear each other apart over money, take each other to court over money, steal from trust funds, steal from their grandchildren. I watched that happen. So I just thought money is money doesn't make you happy, and it can really bring out the worst in you. So I really just didn't care about that. I just wanted to be free. All I wanted was to be free. But unfortunately, my dad was my best friend at the time. I idolized my dad. He meant a lot to me, and when it went like that, it completely broke my heart. And at the time, I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to talk about feelings. We didn't talk about feelings. There was no self-awareness. It was just all swept under the rug. And so to have your own dad reject you because you are evil, that just completely tipped my world upside down. It literally broke my heart. Yeah, so I just tried to forget about it. I just was whatever, I don't need, fuck men. That I was just I hated men after that. And I treated all my boyfriends pretty badly. Yeah, I thought, right, my dad did that to me, then they're all assholes. And I thought, well, I'm going to party even harder now. I'm going to be even badder. I'm evil, okay. And also just feeling really unlovable and just thinking I am nothing. I have no worth. I have no value. It wasn't until I was 30 that I really started to face the the pain of what had happened as an 18-year-old. I just thought, Islam, like, what are you, crazy? Like, okay, it's appealing as a man. Like, I can see why you guys like it, because you get to be, you're the boss, and you can have lots of wives, and you can, do whatever you like, really. I can see, I can see why men like it. So, fuck men, but, and fuck religion too. And all this was inside of me, and I didn't even realize. I just, because I was quite into spirituality. So, in my early 20s, I remember after a few years, I just was like, you know what? I forgive him. Like, he's my dad, and he's loving as best as he can. And life is about learning to love and forgive. And you can't give someone something you don't have. And, so I really, consciously, I just thought, I forgive you. It's cool. And we started chatting over Skype because he moved to the Middle East where he still lives. And we just chat on Skype, and he went, over the years he mellowed out. He was no longer like so extreme in his religion. And, and like, I love my dad. I'll make this clear. Like, I love my parents. I love, my dad and I are very close. But, it's complicated, not just from the religion, but mainly because, he remarried, and I have a stepmother. And I have a half brother and 2 stepsisters. And my stepmother and my stepsisters, they don't like me because, there's issues of race and religion. There's something about me that irritates them. Yeah, my stepmother, you've got Karens, and then you've got, like, Godzilla. And then my brother gets married to, like, whoa. These homewreckers, they don't think the way I think, which is more the merrier. Yay, let's all have fun together. Let's be a family. Like, no. They see you as competition. And yeah, for years I just, like, put up with, like, literal racist comments. Like literally having people, like, in my face put down Western women and they're pussies. And I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. I'll just love them anyway. I'll just be nice to them anyway. I'll just, if I'm nice to them, then eventually maybe they'll be nice to me. Like, why am I being nice to people that are happy to break your heart for, like, literally no reason other than the fact that their heart is ugly? So eventually I finally just said, you know what? What the fuck? Why are you being, like, why? And now they won't even acknowledge me at all. So, and, I don't want to blame that cruelty on a religion, but, anyway, I guess, what? The fact that it's all shown up in my reality just goes to show that I'm obviously the problem. Like, I'm obviously a mega Karen from hell. But I was nice to them. I'm nice to you, like, but if you're not nice to me, then I will beat you at your game. Okay, that's what I've realized about myself. I just want to get along. Like, And even if I don't like you, I'll still be nice to you. Because, like, I get karma, I get it. But I've just taken so much shit over the years that I really am at the point where, like, if you're gonna disrespect me, be, like, nasty, I'm happy to meet you where you're at. And I will do a better job than you, I promise. But, you know, family's meant to be a space that's safe where, you know, they're your people, right? They're your tribe, and, you know, you have fun and you support each other. No, for me, it's been a fucking war zone. I mean, yeah, every religion has its truths. Every religion, you know, has its corruption. Every religion has its hypocrites. But Islam is a supremacist religion. Supremacist religions believe that they are better, that they are supreme. You know, if you're not in the religion, so that whole rabbit hole is what September 11 represented to me. It was like, you know, just split me down the middle again of like, just traumatic for me when it comes to family and religion. So then it was 2022, and I ended up sending an email to Greg Hallett on September 11. So I finished the letter to Greg on like 7th or the 8th of September. I have to look my diary up to get the exact date. But I finished it, and I shared it with my dad, and I said, Dad, I think I'm gonna, you know, I've finished my letter to the King of England, and I'm gonna send it tomorrow, you know. And so I told him that. And then the next morning I wake up and I see that Queen Elizabeth is dead. And I thought, oh, yeah, I can't send it now. Like, my plan's ruined. Like, this is bad timing. So I thought, I'll wait. I thought, well, I'll send it on a Sunday, you know, in a few days. Sunday, it's a holy day, you know, I like the sun. So that was literally my plan. It was as simple as that. And it just so happened to be September 11. So then I started associating September 11 with Greg Hallett. I also had heard at some point around that time that September 11 is significant. It was like Jesus' birthday or something. It's a significant date for Christ. And I think I'd heard Greg saying that that's actually why they chose to do the terror attack on September 11. That's actually, they wanted to traumatize people on that date. These evil people. I'm at the 911 memorial, and this morning when I was sitting in the lobby, all of a sudden a fire truck pulls up and a whole team of firemen like come into the lobby. I let them in, and it was like really interesting that all these like hero men just came into the building to protect the building the same day that I was due to come to the 911 memorial. And is that a coincidence? I doubt it. I just felt such appreciation for these men who give their life, who serve to protect the people. Thousands of people died in the 911 attacks. But it's the firefighters that are like, just, that's what gets you the most, doesn't it? Like, these heroes that came into these buildings and didn't come out, that came in to save other people. That's what hurts the most. It's kind of awkward because, like, clearly it's a false flag. Like, explain Building 7. I don't want to disrespect the dead, you know, and I don't want to sit here and say and just poke holes in it, because ultimately people died because there is an attack on the West. There is an attack on Christianity. Islam is the real threat. Islam is a despicable religion. They want to colonize the whole world, and that's the truth. And if they could, they would do a lot worse than September 11. September 11 is significant for Jesus Christ. What's really interesting is that when I was at the gift shop, I see this. And I asked the guy, what's with this? And he's like, well, there was this dog, Sirius, who was in his kennel when they collapsed and he died. So they honor Sirius, the dog, at the Twin Towers. And I said, you know that Sirius is like the dog star. It's like a planet that's known as the twin dog star. Just can't help but feel like this is like a clue. You know, like Building 7 is a clue. Sirius, the dog. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, King's Chamber, the twins, Gemini. It's all coming together. So, maybe Sirius was a real dog. That's possible. That's like, that's a bit of a coincidence, don't you think? Yeah, and then I found myself at the Grand America Hotel on my 37th birthday.
You just found them.
Salt Lake City, sunset. Time for another adventure. It's fine. Today, I got married.
to myself. This is the best day of my life.
And then a few days later, 3 days later, so 3 days later, after my 37th birthday in Salt Lake City, I got hit by lightning at the Grand Canyon. And I have it on camera. I was filming myself, and I read out the sign because I thought, I don't know, it was there, and I was trying to be interesting. I was like, look at this sign. I just read it out, and then hit by lightning. And I didn't know I'd been hit by lightning. I just saw light, and I felt a little bit of static. And then the gentleman next to me says, "You just got hit by lightning." So I said, "Well, let's get the fuck out of here, because I don't want to get hit again." So then we leave, and this girl comes up, and she says to me, "I just saw you got hit by lightning." And I have it all on camera. I haven't watched it because I'm scared watching it. I don't know why, but breaking ground, look down Bright Angel Canyon with Kebab Trail winds. The Earth's crust fractured in this area, lifting one side of the rock layers and lowering the other, creating a fault. Trail follows this fault into the canyon. Water also follows the fault. Springs, like roaring springs, are able to flow because the groundwater has reached impermeable rock, where it spreads out like leaks out of the canyon walls as springs. I feel like we should not be. Ladies and gentlemen, I just got hit by lightning on the Grand Canyon. I got a witness behind me, got a witness in front of me. It was fun. I didn't see my whole life flash before my eyes, though. It would have been hell entertaining if it did. Does that mean God loves me, or?
Yeah, you got 9 lives.
And then I met the fake King David, and then I fled the country, went to Geneva. Yeah. I went to America trying to become an American in the worst way possible. And then I got hit by lightning. And then I ran away to Geneva. But not before I met King David in Phoenix, Arizona. He wasn't King David. It wasn't him. I think it might be a Black Rock situation. I don't know. So yeah, I thought, okay, something really bad is going to happen to me any second. Anyway, so I love America. I'm gonna apply for my green card. Nobody likes America more than I do. You just won't find a bigger fan. I got some notes. And then, so then, after I flee to Geneva, I went to England on September 11. Literally by coincidence. I literally booked my flight from Geneva to London last minute on Monday, September 11, 2023, purely because that was when my Airbnb ran out. So I found myself flying in to London September 11, 1 year exactly after I had emailed the hidden King of England, who did not reply, by the way. But, you know, it's very dangerous working with him. It's very dangerous. So, you know, I hired my car at the airport and I went to Glastonbury tour, naturally. And as soon as I park the car and I'm getting ready, a military helicopter, I see it above me. Like, and it was very scary. It was very scary. It wasn't a friendly helicopter. It was a scary one.
Seatbelt sign is on. We recommend you take care and be an overhead lookout in case anything falls out. Center.
Hello, England. Coincidentally, I flew to London on September 11, 2023, purely because my Airbnb had run out in Geneva and I booked the next flight to London, and I realized on my way to the airport, it's 111 at the moment, that, yeah, I realized on the way to the airport that I was flying to London on September 11, exactly 1 year after emailing the true King of England. So I was like, okay, like, I don't know, there's a military helicopter right above me. Libby. And I think I'm in trouble. So then I went and had a glass of wine and a bath and went to bed. So grounding is very important. We want to make sure that we're in our body. Okay, rule number one, get in your body. Okay, rule number two, breathe. Okay, I failed those things. So and then on September 11, the next year, 2024, I just, I was in Melbourne. I was at the gym, and after the session, I went to a cafe to do some work. And this really wonderful, Muslim woman sits down next to me with her child, and we had the best chat. And yeah, I made a friend. I was like, see, there's nothing wrong with Islam. There are cunts in every religion, and then you get legends in every religion, because these people, they could read the most true and wonderful book in the world and still find a way to be a dick about it, and these people could read the dumbest book in the world and still manage to find a little bit of truth and live like a legend. So really, it's just do you have the ability to recognize truth and live it and not be a dick? That's my opinion on the subject. However, You can't go to Islamic countries and walk around in a bikini. You can't go and live Christian in a Muslim country. Like, you gotta respect the religion. It should be the same in the West. It should be the same in England. Why should England let millions of Muslims just turn the place into an Islamic country? Why should they have Sharia law and mosques and parades in a Christian country? No. You go to Japan, you want to see Japanese people. Right? You go to Saudi Arabia, you want to see the Saudis. Okay, if you go to India, you want to see Indian culture. If you go to England, you don't want to see the Middle East. You want to see England. It's really simple. It doesn't mean you're a racist. It just means that you're logical. I'm allowed to say that because, I know what it's like to live with that religion. And it's not very accepting. It doesn't seem to promote acceptance and unity and love. It's a religion of judgment. Whatever. Body blue. She added a post. Yes, the West has become a society of no values. Yes. But is that the West's fault? No. It's just the scumbags that infiltrated it. And they're going down. So during the darkest years, 2020 through to 2023, I would watch Ricardo Bossi and his updates regularly because he was the only guy who was, speaking the truth. I was worried about my life and freedom and just feeling God, Australia, we must be one of the most brainwashed. Australia is an experiment. Australia, we're a prison colony. We're a country of people that are complacent with being slaves and who say thank you to their masters. And, women have been masculinized, men have been feminized. I know that we need strong leaders and real men to save it, like Ricardo. Ricardo's right. What we're seeing as far as the Australian leaders goes is it is a belligerent occupation, and it's our duty to reclaim it. I agree. Do we have what it takes to claim our sovereignty and to take charge of our communities and build an army and decentralize power and have our counties based off of the American system? I don't see it, personally. Sorry. I don't know. After all these years, I've been thinking, America, please just take Australia and, call me the Wicked Witch of the West. That's fine. I am the Wicked Witch of the West, and I'm here to say, I love the West. I know, how dare I say that? How dare I say that? The West is so wicked.
Because there is not a culture on the planet that has the capacity to do what must be done. That's why the Christian West, and I've said this previously, the Christian West is the only collection of humans on this planet that will fight for the planet. Nobody else will. Everyone will fight for themselves. Yep. And I'll say it again, and I don't want to offend people, but people have to get this. When did Israel fight for anybody but Israel? When did any Islamic country fight for anybody but for an Islamic country? The answer is never. Now, good individuals, yeah, absolutely, but that's not the point. Now, there's a downside to this particular point as well. Whilst we're the only ones that are built for this job, we have Christ as the centerpiece of our culture, because every culture has many parts, but the centerpiece is always the religion, and it's the centerpiece of our religion, Jesus Christ. You can't get any better. Every other religion is led by a murderous individual or something else. Who cares? A god with one of the 700 Hindu gods with 15 arms, and they don't care about anybody. So we're the only ones that are pre-built, ready to save the planet. That's the Christian West. The downside is, guess why we're in this mess? The Christian West failed in its duty. We failed to live Christ's life. We failed to listen to his words. Because had we, the Christian West, done our job, and you can go back decades or centuries, had we done our job as real Christians and not, I'll say it, what I call bullshit Christians, because they'll follow the rules, but they are not living Christ's life. If we, the Christian West, had done that, we would not be where we are. So whilst I'm very proud to say we are the only ones that can save the planet through Christ to the Almighty, there's also the other side of that equation, which says we're here because we messed up, and we can no longer afford to mess up. No other culture on this planet has the means, the psychological, physical, spiritual means, and physical means to do it. We do. Come on board, folks, if you like it. If you don't, tough, because we're driving this in a direction that we know is good for everybody. So I know that's a very, almost sounds arrogant perspective to take, but I've yet to hear an argument against me from any group, and I love discussing it with the other religions because they lose within the first 15 seconds. Charlie Kirk was a lovely, gentle debater. I'm not. I'm a soldier. I'm not here to play nice. I am here to get a fucking result, and we're going to do it properly. But don't fight, because you will lose. We got a fight to have here. It's got to be won, and it's got to be done Christ's way. So forgive the salty language, but sometimes I've got to do that to get people's attention. I don't like Bosie. He swears too much. Well, are you listening? Yes, good. Well, that's all that matters then. Let me build purgatory for a few extra centuries to make up for that sin. But we're trying to save lives, and predominantly the children. We are trying to save the children's lives. What gets me animated is, I keep saying it, and of all people, I know why, but I still have that human response to say, how many more children have to die before we wake up and stop this? Okay? And so, forgive the language, I do apologize, but I've been at this game a long time, and knowing what's been happening to the babies and the children and the rest of it, I just think humans can sit there and go, oh, well, No, I don't. No, I don't know how you can rip a baby out at full-term abortion out of a mother and sell the body parts to corporations. I don't get that. I don't understand how the medical fraternity has sat there and the nurses have watched babies cry and die in a kidney dish. No, I don't get it. This is come here, slap you across the face a couple of times, throw in the corner. Now sit down, shut up, let us clean up the mess, and maybe in a few more lifetimes, if you believe in reincarnation like the Hindus, maybe you'll learn something that you should have learned a long time ago.
What's interesting is what's happening with Iran at the moment. Operation Midnight Hammer. I haven't figured it out yet, the significance, but I've only scratched the surface. But there's also something about hammers. Now, is it the hammer? The hammer of justice. I feel like we've come full circle from September 11, 2001, terror attack. We've come full circle. Like, the white hats are in control now. So sad what happened to those firefighters. Like, I just saw 8 of them this morning come into the building, and they're just so adorable. Men with their gadgets and their gizmos, they're so adorable. I feel like if I just sit here and get sad, it's not going to help anybody though. But I think that there's a lot of room in the world for more appreciation of these like men of service, you know, the men who protect and rescue. Like, we need to value them more. And it was funny, last night was July 4th, and I decided to be Little Miss Independent, and I was just doing my own thing, and I could hear these women who were like around my age, late 30s, in their 40s, just cackling and talking shit about Donald Trump. And I don't know, just ripping on men. That's what it's just women ripping on men and men ripping on women, and it's just like, yeah. I'm sure I'm guilty of it at times, but how in the world are we gonna encourage people to appreciate the men that literally built this world, who maintain this world, you know, like, stop blaming them for it. I mean, men are annoying, let's face it. We gotta stop, you know, just kidding. No, yeah. I don't know, I think women are probably a little bit more annoying. We're all annoying. We're all very annoying, and we all need to work on being less annoying. There is a connection between 911 and Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the true liberator. This is what is written in the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. And I wonder, when is there going to be disclosure on this? Like, when is it going to go public? I feel like it could happen pretty soon, to be honest. It will happen. It's time to repent. Yeah. Like, Jesus is back. Jesus walks. Both of them.